See. Um, all right, everyone, give me a minute and we're going to get started. We're going to get started. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is Jamil Salibs of me out of Manning, South Carolina, as usual, on Community Candid and also on the 19 Report and all of our different platforms. I'm not at my best today. I guess you can see it in my eyes. I'm very, very tired. Every time I get up, feel like something just pulling me down. Every time I try to think, it feel like something's pulling me from thinking. So I don't know exactly what it is. I got an inkling of an idea of what it is, and I hope that's not what it is, but it could very well be. Anyway, we only got one life on this earth, and you can use it for whatever you want, to become a millionaire, to become rich, to find this, find that. But God saved my life, so I stick with that because I see what's going on in the world, and I don't like it. I never will like it. How y'all doing? Hey, Nico, what's going on, my friend? Miss Shaw, you have a Shantiqua Hill Cooper. How are you, ma'am? Thank you all. I hope you all will, even if you can't stay on, I hope you all will share this information because y'all know I've been doing this for 35 years before the internet, right? I actually almost went to federal prison because I used to type up my newsletters and put them in mailboxes. That's a federal offense. But I used to do that in Manning for years before the internet. And then I got into, once it came, I got onto, all of the video platforms, and they were only giving you like a 30 seconds or whatever like that. Then I worked my way up on YouTube to where I was putting up so much content that when it was difficult to become a content creator, I was a content creator on YouTube when it first started. Well, I started in 2006 or 2006. And I used to get paid off of YouTube all the time, man. But now I don't. But I said that to say that this is a lot of work, and this is not something that I take lightly. This is not entertainment. This is not a game. You want entertainment, go look at Red. And I ain't calling them Red, the girl who call herself Red. Go look at that. You want entertainment and foolishness, look at our people murdering each other in the streets. You want foolishness, look at how politicians are destroying communities under titles and saying that they're doing better for the community. This is not that. This is a direct warning from Almighty God, Allah. You can call him Yahweh. You can call him whatever you want. It's only one God. He doesn't clash with himself. So I don't waste time on the page, and I'm going to get off my deathbed if I got the strength to get off my deathbed and teach this teaching, because it's already manifesting itself. Interesting fact. Did you know that all this starting at the middle of last month, Manning by itself was the red zone in South Carolina for that was going to be the hottest area in South Carolina. Manning was in the red. See, Manning got a lot of untold history that it wants to bury. It's like ancient Egypt and ancient Africa and ancient, all of the ancient, they want to bury it and still be king throne as they bury the truth. If you don't believe what I'm saying, go look at Brown versus the Board of Education. Go look at how they Briggs versus Elliott, how they switched that to Brown versus the board, how they changed the school to someone else's name who had nothing to do with the school. They're erasing our history. Black folks are being erased, and we're so comfortable in our foolishness that we think because we got a Draco or AR or AK, or we got a switch because y'all got switches now. We think that we're going to shoot our way out, kill our way out, screw our way out, maneuver and manipulate our way out of a situation that we don't even know how we got into. So there are very few adults who are fighting this fight. Your retired military and your retired who receiving pensions and receiving SSI at its highest amount, they're not going to speak out against anything. They're going to live their life out no matter what happens to black people. They're going to keep their mouths shut for fear that they're going to lose their money. Money is the root of all evil. The Bible said so. White folks fight the battle for their future. When fentanyl came into play and other drugs that was destroying white children, white women, white men started organizations to combat the death of their children. And when they couldn't do that, they got Narcan, just squirted up their nose, and it'll save their life. What we do, black folk, we brag and laugh about it as we see our mothers, our sisters. We participate in it, killing them with drugs, killing them with alcohol. Well, if I don't do it, somebody going to do it. We are the most sick people on the planet, and we don't want to take responsibility for that. We're scapegoaters. We run, we hide, we duck, we genuflect, we cast blame upon. So today is the last day that I will be talking about They Are Legion. This is part 3. I had to get that out because I want y'all to understand that I'm going to be marking off stuff because I had to write this down as I was outside. God was talking to me, ringing in my ear, and I had to get this done today. So be patient with me as I try to go through everything that I have written, and it is vitally important. I want to say this at the outstart as well. When you dedicate yourself to a family, you die for that family. You dedicate yourself to what you call a religious belief, you die for that. You young folks out there dedicating yourself to colors and titles, you dying for that. It may not have a significant meaning to it, but it does for you. This thing called truth, I die for that. I don't love my life to the point of wanting to run away from a confrontation or a battle. That's not me. Only thing I don't want to do is go to jail for being the one who initiated it. I got to wait till God says to move. So we got our young people who are possessed. They're demonic and they like it. We're in the era where they're asking for ratchetness because Satan cannot give you anything that your heart does not desire. I'm going to say that again. Satan cannot perform any upon a person whose heart does not desire it. Satan cannot live in a vessel that it is rejecting him. So that's the reason I entitled this They Are Legion, after They Are Legend with Will Smith, because I wanted to use the visuals of the movie to describe what is happening now in America and all over the world. And most importantly, it's happening within each individual. And that's where we lose the ability to fight, because we get the heaviest gun, the one that shoots the most, thinking that we're fighting an outside enemy. But your enemy, my enemy, is within us. So the scripture says we are all God's children of the Most High God. If we are gods, then we're devils, because the opposite of God is devil. Depending on what side of you is ignited and acted and reacted, that determines who you are. And we are such a weak people. I don't care how many tattoos you get. If you get them on your face, your nose, your teeth, your eyeballs. I don't care how many guns you carry. I don't care how many people you done killed. They black people. 9 times out of 10, you kill black people. Now, one thing white folks in this town will not get on Jamil about is being a racist or being anti anything, because they understand that the love of self and self-preservation is first. But black folks never loved ourselves since we were brought here in chains and as freed people and converted to slaves. We're talking about They Are Legion, but I want to get this real clear. We got an hour. Give me an hour, because if it's out there, you can share it and you can go back and look at it and you can question what I say and you can check it out for yourself. The history book says that we were brought here in 1619. But the truth of the matter is that we were brought here undercover in 1555. Now, black folks were all over the planet. This whole planet was called Asia. There was Asia Major, Asia Minor, and Eurasia. And that's why we say that we are Asiatic black people, because the earth was inhabited by Asiatic people that look like us. A new man came on the planet and started dividing and hiding. And since they were given 6,000 years to prove whether their way of life would be sustainable, the history of the original man was buried. So you can dig down in the earth, and they know this, and you can find the history of our people as far down as you can dig, because all of the history was hidden. And God's covenant with Satan was that you got to make a new world with your technology. And at the end of your time, I will begin to let you see the greatness of the people that you enslaved. So I want to go into, we talking now, I'm off my soapbox. Any man that does not care about his race, any woman, when someone can call you a derogatory statement, a derogatory word as an insult, and you are so weak, so ignorant in your understanding that you will take the word and you will say it and describe that as yourself. See, if our people didn't have anything, we would be so close right now. We would be a community for real. But once you give a sick-minded person anything, they want to separate and become what they admired the whole time. And what we admire is the life of another race of people. That's their life. That's what God gave them. That's not ours. But we want it. And we want it by any means necessary, by the same means in which they got it. They are legion. Who can make war with the devil? The scripture says that we war not against flesh and blood. Now I want to find that. I'm going to take my time, and I hope I'm not talking too loud, but I really got to hype myself up today because I feel horrible. But hey, if you got to fight and you sick, you still got to fight or get beat up. Or fight, you know, and still get beat up. Whichever way, I'm a fight. Because God made me a fighter, as He made most of you fighters. But you don't know. You think you in peace times. You don't even know you at war. So you talking like you at peace, like everything is fine when it's not, and that is the trick of Satan. Ephesians 6:12 of the King James Version of the Bible says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." See, the minute you say you're going to stop doing something, the minute you say it, the spiritual wickedness in the high place says, "Oh, come on, man, you're going to stop doing that today." And everybody that you know going to come around with that thing that you said you're going to stop doing. That is your trial. It is one of the most difficult trials that any human being could ever endure, but it is your and my trial as individuals, and no one can help us within that trial. They can encourage us. That's what motivational speakers are for encouragement. But the true key to this thing, and I'm going to try to give you that key today, the true key is facing your own shortcomings, your own demons. Now, I want to apologize with my streaming software. I pay monthly for this thing, and it's been acting very strange lately because freedom is not free, and there's no such thing as freedom of speech. You can say what we give you a right to say, but when you start speaking out of the confines of that, then we might interrupt your situation, and that's their right to do, because I'm skipping right now, and I've never skipped on this platform before. So I hope that you will stay tuned. We are 15 minutes in. We're doing good. I want to get started right now. We're living in a time where you might see young folks come outside with a hoodie on, long sleeve, a Pooh mask, shades, everything long. It's 100 degrees outside, and they'll come outside wearing that. If you remember the old vampire movies from back in the day where they couldn't come outside during the day, or if they did, they had to, really wrap themselves up so that they wouldn't be affected by the daily elements, the sun. As a Muslim, we're taught that any person that hides their eyes from the sun is a devil. Any person that does not allow sunlight or enlightenment into their life, into their spiritual self, into their eyes and into their pineal gland is a devil. I'm saying that because as you look at our young children who dress, some of them, not all, because all are not affected, but they are legion. There is a legion. There are thousands of them who only come out at night. And when they come out at night, they come out with the intentions of selling drugs, doing drive-bys, any robberies, carjackings, they are here. And they are our people. I mentioned earlier how white folks fight for their children and for what they believe to be the right thing, and we get the residuals of their fight. But God is not going to allow a new heaven and a new earth to come into being as long as we're living off the residuals of someone else's fight. So they build, and you got to give them respect for what they've done. They enslaved God, and they built a world of their own. And they got the gods working for them without the knowledge of how anything works. And if we get the knowledge of how it works, and the knowledge is based upon their knowledge, their school of thought, then they can take it back, or they can stop us from succeeding in that knowledge realm. That's called systematic racism. A system of checks and balances, capitalism, call it what you want, but they're going to keep their people in positions because this is their world. And if our people, our color, does not go along with their world, then we will be stopped. Proof of that, they killed Dr. King for truth. They killed Malcolm. They killed Medgar. They killed Denmark Vesey. They killed oh man, who's my guy? God forgive me. Give me the strength to remember. I can see his face. Shelby Black guy, the Back to Africa movement. Oh my God. I'll remember soon, God willing. But they kill all of our leaders because the nerve of you to try to win off of what we built. That's not racism. That is in their mind, that is what do you call it? Survival. They make the guns. You put the switch on it, but they build the guns. They build the parts. They have the hospitals, the grocery stores. They have all that. They build the cars. We're just consumers of their world. So when they say to black people the N-word, that means you're like a child. You're ignorant. Grow up. Do something for yourself. Be a man. And we don't want to take that from them, but we find that as a term of endearment towards each other. So I want to read this out of Luke, Mark 5, and I say 9. No, let's go to 6. Says, when he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me?" Let me go up one more, because let's start at 5, because I'm showing you that a demonic spirit saw Jesus from a distance and ran up to him and asked him, "Man, what you want with me?" And the reason I'm saying this is because the only people that can make war with the beast are the ones, as we are taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, that point out the devil when you see him. Because see, they got a world where this no snitching policy that is it is a low frequency thought, no snitching. Because people who are building a world know not to tell what they're doing. But on the lower level, the lower world, the underworld, that's where those rules apply about no snitching. Snitches get stitches. Well, put my stitches in and let me give some. Snitches with stitches kill people. Snitches with stitches ask God's permission to carry out assassinations. Because what Satan wants from you is for you to never face him. But when he knows that you are a ram, when he knows that you are tenacious, when he knows that you will face him on any battlefield at any time, rather you live or rather you die, Satan has a better respect for you. But when he knows you are a coward, then he sucks the very life blood out of you. We're talking about they are legion. So let's go 5. They went across the lake to the region of Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him. No one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore his chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with stones. Our children, night and day, crying out, all kind of hand signals, cutting, marking themselves up. No one can stop the wiles of our young people. 6, when he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. Now, this is the demon. This is the impure spirit that no one could tame, but he ran to Jesus and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of Man, High God, Most High, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." Now, this is a demon, a killer, a murderer, a straight up house shooter, asking Jesus not to torture him. See, we get weak when we see our sick children and their mental illness come around with their guns and their groups to intimidate and terrorize. We get weak. But we're going to have to fight our children. Not only are we going to have to fight them, we're going to have to kill them. You're going to have to prove to them that because they think that the generations before them were weak. They think that. You see them on the internet sometimes saying, we ain't like our grandparents. We fight back. Well, Negro, we fight back too. But it is a sad, sick, unproductive fight. Thinking that we're fighting the former slave master and his children for a piece of what we helped to build. Now we got to build a community and like with Tulsa, Oklahoma, where it was white folks who burned it down, or Rosewood, it's our own people burning it down. So when I talk about the Legion, I'm talking about our people, black people, who are the troublemakers, who are the destroyers, who are the disrespecters. But these black folks are products of an environment created by their slave masters deliberately. But you didn't have to fall for this. You could have beat this. But thinking that you were strong in rebelling against your parents with your ignorance, you fell right into the hands of Satan, and you ain't rebelling against him because everything he tell you to do, he bring the guns, you use them. He bring the drugs, you use them. He tell you your women ain't nothing, you use them. He tell you you ain't nothing, you use your silly, mentally challenged self. In fact, a mentally challenged person has more morals than most of our young men in the street today. And it ain't just the street, they're in the school system, they're in the colleges, all over the place. All over the place. We are at war with our own. And if you're not able to turn your back on them in a split second and do what you got to do, then you got to deal for 20, 30, 40 years as they live under your roof and talk all that tough talk and flash all that money and get your house shot up because they are not growing mentally. They're like little children. They're in a state of arrested development. Negroes with attitudes. NWA all day. And you can take them to church and you can talk nice to them, but it is a game. You cannot change their minds. This is why I use the movie I Am Legend. Remember, Will Smith fought for the serum and he was telling the head vampire, I can help you. I can help you. And the vampire is looking at him like, Negro, I ain't asked you for no help. I'm happy being who I am. So all of this big time talk amongst our people, and especially the politicians and especially the Democratic Party, we're going to have to call them to task in November, because I want you to take every single black politician, elected official in Clarendon County, in Manning and Summoning, and I want you to find out what they've done for us. They will mess up our towns and our cities with all this graffiti and all these goddamn signs and all that mess, asking for you. Just like totally shut me off on paid software. Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny, but God is funnier in a funny kind of way. So we're going to keep on moving. Thank y'all for tuning in. But look at what you own, though. Look at your streets. Look at your communities. I'm not talking about getting no party downtown and all of that stuff. All of that's great. A town should do that. Should do that for the people who pay their taxes. Reward them for their generosity. Reward them for their hard work. You should do that. But look at the school system. And by the way, I am still running for the school district, this District 9 school seat. I am still running for that position. I will be campaigning about it later on after this broadcast, but I got to get this out, and I'm asking you to give me about an hour and 10 minutes for this. But let me get back into the conversation of Jesus and this demon. When he saw Jesus, he comes running down and fall for and he said, Jesus, Son of Most High, in God's name, don't torture me. This the devil talking now, according to the scripture. In God's name, the devil talking, don't torture me. Because God and devil have conversations all the time, and they greet each other all the time. But it's on that level that I was telling you about, that higher level, that spiritual level. You don't know nothing about that. You thinking it's this God over here and this devil over And so we're going to try to keep going. I apologize to everybody who's on the feed. Listen, man, they tear me up today. I don't have anyone to help me because everybody hoping for their day to get rich, and they don't want to stir up no trouble in nowhere because they think these people who smile at them and shake their head and say, if there's anything I can do for you, you let me know. They really think they mean that. But go watch Martin when he was on with Tommy Davidson, when Tommy Davidson told him, if you ever come my way, come by the show. And he told him, Negro, I didn't mean that. That's politics 101. They are total liars, some of them. They have no intentions of doing anything at any time for anybody unless it is for greater gain for them. So I want you to look at every political black figure in Clarendon County. I'm talking about the mayor. I'm talking about the senator. I'm talking about the mayor pro tem. I'm talking about all of your council members. I'm talking about your school board members, all of them. And find out if they are helping us to do better and equal. We pay equal taxes. We got to pay for everything out of the money that we make. But the minute you speak up, they make you an enemy. I'm going to show you that in the Bible, but let me finish this because they just on my behind today, boy. They on me. And I apologize. I don't know. I'm hoping that this will record on my software so that I can upload it again later. But here is this demon asking Jesus in the name of God, don't torture him. For Jesus had said to him, come out of this man, you impure spirit. This legion is impure spirits that our children and some of our adults have accepted. They accepted it. They open their whole self to it. They want to be evil. Some of our politicians want to be wicked. Some of them want to steal, want to rob. Same thing with police. Same thing with other people. They just want to do that. And then you got another group who are really trying to do things by the book. But people hate truth tellers. And truth tellers are murdered. Truth tellers are maligned. Truth tellers are made to look like they're crazy. And truth tellers will eventually be shamed and run out of town or dead from stress or from a bullet, because a young person will do it for nothing. 9. Then Jesus asked him, what is your name? See, this is how godly people talk to the devil. You don't run behind the door and you know the devil outside. Hey, I know you. You a devil. Jesus said it before. I know you. You are of your father, the devil. I'm going to look that up if I get a chance. Let me write that down. You are of your father, the devil. Because I like to take this book called Bible. And break it down as God has given me the ability to do. It's not to brag about. I'm not bragging about it. I don't get no rewards from it. I get comfort from God, from Allah, from Jesus. I get comfort from doing the right thing. I feel like God protects us because we're in a war zone now. See, when your young people get the mindset of being possessed, whatever they bring to your house, either you're going to tell them to leave, you're going to act like you don't see it, or you're going to participate in it. And since not only are the young people weed heads, the cheap weed too, just something somebody make up out the blue, not the sativa, not the different kind of weed, but just bull job, just shake, just garbage, chemicals. Since they're weed heads, and you like weed as their mother, you don't tell them to change nothing. Now you weeding with them. And now you want to play mama, and they say, BITCH, who you talking to? You smoke weed with me. You screwing my homeboy. And they are screwing little boys. And they buy them video games to play. You just stay here till I get home, and you screw me good, and I feed you. That's the state of our community, some of it. And it's been that way. The young men now who are possessed sat and watched their mothers and sisters and fathers be consumed by crack cocaine across town and other places. sat and watched their mothers spread their legs and screw guys till they got AIDS and all these different kind of diseases, and went right to doing the same goddamn thing that they saw happen to their parents. No remorse, no reflection, no nothing. Let's move on. Jesus asked him his name. My name is Legion. He replied, for we are many. And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. See, there's certain places they want to be. I want you to look at Detroit, Baltimore, Philly, Washington, D.C., used to be the murder capital of the world, Alabama, Atlanta, Little Rock, Arkansas, and soon to be South Carolina, and Sumter, and Summerton. With the level of violence, they don't want to leave the area. They've mastered it. And everybody is involved with the foolishness. And anybody who stands up against it is considered the troublemaker. So everybody stays quiet and just live in their own little bubble. But this world is going to bust your bubble. And for all of you out there now with your AKs and your Dracos, they're making new guns every day. And your children are buying them, and they don't like you. And they will kill you. And they will shoot up your community. So your turn is now, little Negroes. But the children that you are having, these mentally ill children that are filled with drugs and liquor and foolishness, they're going to kill you in a different way. Nobody escapes this, Jack. You're going to get your turn. We in it now with you all and y'all crazy behind. As great of a community as we could have, a community store, we could have anything we want. The Chinese come and do it. The Mexicans come and do it. The Indians come and do it. The Hindus come and do it. The Jamaicans come and do it. The Africans come and do it. But the American mentally enslaved black man does nothing but depend on other people, and he don't even think about it. Just vote somebody in. Vote for him because they say so. You got two choices this time. A senile man who claims he's not senile, but he is. And a fanatic who is not as fanatical as you think. Because if it wasn't for Trump, you wouldn't have no PPP loans. You wouldn't have blown all that money. Let's go back into this thing. Here the devil begging Jesus for mercy in the name of God. The devil is begging Jesus in the name of God. My name is Legion, he replied. And he begged him again and again not to send him out of the area. And a large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. And the demons begged Jesus, send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them. He gave them permission. And the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. Well, the pigs are not just animals. The pigs are animal acting people. Eat anything, do anything. These children screwing their own mamas, their own sisters. They're getting them pregnant. They don't care. They'll kill you and go to sleep. They eat anything. They are pigs. And their spirits are open to evil, so the evil is going into them. And I don't care where you are, in a gated community, on the moon. You can't hide from this. Everybody's going to be involved in it pretty soon. So when it was time for my children to go, however they left, you want to call somebody else mama? You want to call somebody else daddy? Go right ahead. I ain't provoking you to nothing. Go. But some of you parents, you turn 30 and 40 years old, won't work, won't cut the grass, but they can shoot and kill and smoke some weed, though. And since you getting a little money off of them to pay the bills, you go along with their foolishness, but you accountable. On the moral scale from God's law, you're held accountable. Because with that little bit of money they make off of all of the death and destruction in the black community, they could go work at Hardee's or McDonald's. Or go in the corner and pick up some cans. Flash that little bit of money. So it says in 13 that Jesus gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. And the herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. I'm telling you, the blood is going to be up to the horse's bridle. Says that in the Bible. Since you love blood so much, young folks, God gonna give you your blood to drink. So every gun that's out there, y'all gonna get it. Every switch, every gun, God gonna allow Satan to put it in your hands. Kill yourself. Run into the pigs. Drown yourself in the blood that you so desire. Vampires. But who can make war with the beast? I'm showing you who. They fell, Satan, the demon, fell at the feet of Christ. All right, I'm going to leave that because we got a lot of work to do. Now, this subject I've been talking about for the last 2 or 3 months, they are legion. And here's the crazy thing. I'm looking up the information today about what I just read because I wanted to read it again as a prelude to what I was talking about. But as I typed in the word legion, a book came up. I want you to see this book. I want you to see this book. I'm going to put it up on my screen right now. For those of you on Instagram who can't see it, the title of the book is We Are Legion, for We Are Many. It is a book by Thomas R. Horn, best-selling author of Zeitgeist 2025, with contributions from LTC Robert, Magennis, Terry James, Jonathan Brittner, Derek Gilbert, Josh Peck, and Nita Horn. But check out the title. I mean the description. A demonic portal opened above the White House around the time that Biden moved in. This is Roger Stone, former advisor to President Donald Trump on the Eric Melissa radio show. He's saying the moment that Biden moved into, and listen, this political scene, this Democrat and Republic thing, to me, it's no different than blood and Crip, because Republican red, Democrat blue, and everybody killing everybody. They got wars going on over this foolishness. But on the front of the book, it's a book, and I haven't read it yet. I just saw it. I'm going to get it. But on the front of the book, it has a picture of Joe Biden, Kim Jong-un, the Pope, the Russian president, and Donald Trump. 5 people. We are legion, for we are many. I'm very curious as to what this book is going to be about. But I was told by God to talk about legion for the last 3 months before I even knew this book existed. But this is where we are. So I wanted to put that out there. I'm getting real dizzy. So I'm going to try to keep going. I'm going to try my best to keep going. Yeah, I'm going to keep going, God willing. Let me get this off the screen. That's why you want people who believe in what you're doing so they can support you right. I built all of this stuff in here, paid for all this stuff in here over the years, hoping that I would have a network going by now of different people, got a whole studio over on the other side and, you know, renting stuff, hoping that it would happen. But money just got us caught up. So wherever the money is, rather truth is there or not, we're going there. But I want to explain, I want to get this to you real quick. I told you about our children and not being able to come outside during the day. You see them now, they got on hoodies, they got the hood up, and they got on Pooh Shiesty mask, and they covered. That's a prime sign of what they are. They're demons. Not that they're just, I'm a demon. Some of them are saying it. But many of them have no idea what type of portal they opened when they decided to watch all of these demonic videos of murder and killing and gang violence on YouTube and on the internet. But you opened your soul, your portal to wickedness. And on top of that, drugs and liquor and improper foods and that that we all were told to take when the thing happened. Check this out. The dark seekers are what they're called on I Am Legend. I Am Legend with Will Smith. They're called dark seekers. But check this out real quick. Dark seekers are mutants in the 2007 film adaptation I Am Legend. Now, the book is totally different because they're just straight up vampires in the book. They are the human susceptible to the Crippen virus who were infected but did not die from it. The Crippen virus. Crippen virus. Let's look at this. What is the Crippen virus? It says the Crippen virus, also known as KV for short, is a fictional man-made disease in the 2007 film adaptation of I Am Legend. I'm gonna leave that there. I can't say no more about that, about this virus. But check this out. The people who turned into the Dark Seekers were the ones who were given the so-called solution to the problem. And instead of a solution, it turned them into animals. While thousands infected with the Crippen virus who survived it developed primal behavior upon succumbing to the virus and becoming a dark seeker. They do retain enough of their higher intelligence to build and copy complex traps. They have previously been dark seekers. They have previously seen dark seekers' adrenal gland give them increased mobility. All of these drugs that our young people are taking, they can't even sleep at night. They up all night. Their adrenal glands wide open. They're drinking the monster drinks. They're drinking anything that keeps them wide open. It's from the movie. The increased metabolism also speeds up dark seekers' heart rate, breathing speed, and body temperature, and makes them constantly hyperventilate. Other symptoms of KV include dilated pupils, inflated gums, hair loss, albinism, and a primal state of madness. I'm going to leave it there. That's our children. They're in a primal state of total madness. Now, let me go a little further because we're doing good. We're 47 minutes in. Talked about the children being out at night. All right, let me cover this. Then we'll be done. I want to read this first from Genesis 22. I told you all that there will come a day at the beginning of the new world, and we are already in that beginning because the old world is falling. But remember, at the end of any world, everything looks great. The Bible says that people will be partying and laughing and having all kind of good times at the end. Let me see if I can find that. People will be partying at the end. The Bible. I like to kind of verify things. I don't want to scare you or nothing, but you should be very concerned about what's happening. Because when you're dealing with demons, they don't quit. They just think of another idea. And when you're dealing with demons or vampires, there's always a head vampire. There's always some evil entity at the top who keeps feeding them that they will win. And unfortunately, all of the avenues you can take to help you do things legally may be against you because they're all working for the same system. God doesn't work for man's system. Man works in God's time. So I try to work on God's time. Let your will be done and allow me the ability to understand it. And if not, give me the ability to follow your instructions and understand it later. Now in Matthew 24:28, this was right before the flood came. Says, for in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So into the last minute, we think everything is fine. The preacher going to be telling you everything is fine because he need his money. He's trying to be the biggest guy, even though he's acting humble. He wants to be that guy. He wants to be the next T.D. Jakes, the next Joel Osteen. And the one thing this world knows is that that's what you want to be. So you don't get past the gatekeepers unless they allow you to pass the gatekeepers. That's in music and everything else. And you walk around here talking about they sold to the devil. You sold your soul to the devil. We all did. We keep quiet about something that is devilishment. You look at the darn BET Awards and all that, and the first thing come out your mouth, I think Patrick York posted up that we make excuses for lame people. He didn't say it, but he reposted something someone else said. We make excuses for lame people, goofies, who, because they got money, we won't call them to task about things that they are wrong about. We do the same thing about this world. So we sitting here letting our children look at Red and all of these people act a fool on this BET channel owned by Viacom, owned by rich Jewish people who call themselves Jews, owned by white folks who could care less about you, but they are perpetuating the ignorance of our people, and we justify it because we want to watch it. You don't turn the TV off. You don't say don't watch that. Ask my boys how it was in my house when we watched the movie, R-rated movie. I know they know about sex, but when it's on, turn your head. Leave the room. I'll tell you when to come back. I know you know it, but you're not going to do it around me. But these scared to death parents who done run to their make-believe God in society today, they be the main ones talking on the internet with their podcasts about God and God. But look at their children. Look at what their children are doing in the community. And that'll tell you who they are and what they are. Actions speak louder than words. Love is an action word. But the mess that we put out as love is demonic. So let's get on into it. What did I read it? No, I didn't read it. Genesis 22. I told you that there will come a time when we got to kill our children. We got to let them go, but most people can't let them go. So mothers are trying to raise boys, but they're raising boys like the boy is a trophy. So the boy listens to the mother, but internally hates the mother, because every child must be able to try things and make mistakes in their efforts. Of course, you don't want them to jump in water if they can't swim. Of course, you don't want them to handle a gun if they don't know how. You teach them those things. But if they want to try something, and the minute they want to try it, you enforcing your way because you the mama, and now they hate you. So the moment they get to do something that they can do, killing people, drugs, screwing, and bringing you all these babies and dead bodies and all this grief and heartache, they're going to do it. They're demonic. You think we're in war, in peace times, but we are at war. And nobody is preparing for war. The book says prepare for war. Can I look that up real quick? I'm going to go over my time. I'm sorry. Let me see. Prepare for war in the Bible. And I hope it comes up, because I'm challenging the whole system. I think I need to put in prepare for war, beat your shovels into swords. I think it's something like that. But I want to clarify some things. If I can't find it, I'll come back later. But I want to spend most of the rest of my time with broadcasts. Okay, let me see if this is it. Isaiah 2:4. We're going to try to finish. And he shall among the people, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up swords against nation. Nations shall not lift up, neither shall they study war no more. This is after the war. I'm going to hold off on that, but it's in the Bible that God is saying this is the time of war, but we don't want to fight the war. But let me read this real quick. Genesis, why I talked about the children and how we knowingly make devils and send them into the world. Because remember on I Am Legend, Will Smith, knowing that his wife was injected with the KV virus, put her on the helicopter anyway. It just so happens that the helicopter blew up, but he was going to send the virus because that's the person you love. So you know they're a devil, but you're going to let them in a society anyway because you don't want. And that's how it was on The Walking Dead. You saw this person that used to be your child and you're trying to save them, but they're dead. Genesis 2:2. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham, here I am, he replied. Then God said, take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there and a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will tell you about. Early that next morning, Abraham got up and saddled his donkey. He took with him two of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set it up for the place God had told him about. On the third, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servant, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over. He already done started separating himself from the child. He ain't called him Isaac. He said, me and the boy, we will worship and then we will come back to you. Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it onto Isaac, and he himself carried the fire. I'm going to take it down some. Abraham answered, God himself will provide the land. Okay. Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, Father, yes, my son, Abraham replied. The fire and wood are here, Isaac said, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And the two of them went on together. So Isaac is wondering what's happening, but check out what Abraham did. It says in 11 that he reached out his hand and took out his knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham, here I am, he replied. Do not lay a hand on the boy, he said. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from your son. You have not withheld from me your only son. See, we're in a time of trial. And the Bible says in order to preserve your life, you must give it. It's in the book. I keep saying quotes that I wish that I had like a second person to look them up. It's you know how y'all watch Pastor Geno Jennings and someone's always reading. My vision is getting blurry. I'm going to stop in a minute, but I want to do this. If I can see. I can't even remember what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm sorry, my thought left. My vision got blurred and my thought left. But I think I'm going to stop. I think I've covered most of what I should have covered. I think I have. But I do want to read this in closing. And we're closing. 58 minutes in. Isaiah 59:14 through 15. This is very hard on me today. I thank Almighty God that I was permitted to make it through it. Isaiah 59:14 through 15 says, so justice is driven back and righteousness stands at a distance. Truth has stumbled in the streets. Honesty cannot enter. Truth is nowhere to be found, and whoever shuns evil becomes a prey. The Lord looked and was displeased that there was no justice. This is the world that we're in. Truth is gone. And those who are telling truth are about to go. Because God gave me 90 days, then 1 year, then 2 years. This is my third year. And then around the fourth year is usually when situations arise with my situation. So I'm in my fourth year, but I'm grateful to be here. And I ain't spend this 4 years running around dancing and having a good time and partying and smoking weed and shooting up people and tricking people out of their votes and all of that. I spent this time studying biblical scripture and trying to find God. Because when I talk to you about God for real, I want to know what I'm talking about for real. I don't want to sell you no hill of beans. I don't want to sell no black folks no lie after all we've been through. But you got politicians and others who are lying to you, who take pleasure in getting over on your and my ignorance. So I want you to take the responsibility, by God's permission, of finding all of the black politicians in South Carolina. Manning and Summerlin and King Street and find out what they have done for all people, not for their cousin or their sister or this little few, but what have they done for all people? And if you decide to vote and you're not voting for a person who's beneficial to everybody, then you would do better to preserve your vote. I thank you all for tuning in. I think that we covered as much as I was supposed to cover. I was supposed to read something out of, oh my goodness, I got to put this part in closing. Who is able to make war with the beast, the woman and the dragon? This is in Revelations 12. Now, of course, I've said this over and over again that the devil has to die. Satan has to die. Satan will not stop. They will keep going and going and going and going and going. It looks like they stopping, but they just planning for the next thing. I got people that live in my community are like that. You think they stopping, they coming back with more BS over again. And if they can't do it, they're going to bring the gangs in and they're going to try to threaten you. But they got something on their hands if Allah puts in me what I want him to put in me and what I pray I'm worthy of. Rather I live or die. We're going to make so much noise on Sugar Hill that y'all going to remember this place to the day you die. Because no man has the right to take your life from you or your peace or your privacy. And for the person who put them in there, you that I saw today, I ain't going to forget you. Because you living fine, sir. You don't even live in the town no more. You someplace else. And your house in town, it looks beautiful and immaculate, doing fine. But that's one of them politicians that you should never vote for. Never vote for these crooks. Never vote for a black crook. You're going to get what you vote for. Because you don't know them off the political scene when they smiling and all that. I know some of them. In fact, I used to sell drugs to them back in the day. But the woman in Book of Revelations who was able to make war with the beast, the great sign appears in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was able to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, and an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its head. Its tail whipped a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that it might devour her child. Remember, I told you that in the book of Genesis, it was a snake. And at the end, there was a dragon that stood at the foot of the woman ready to devour her child. That dragon is that demon. That dragon is that legion. From the cradle to the grave, our children are being influenced and manipulated and molested in the woman's womb. They're not being nurtured in the minds of the woman as they are connected to her through the umbilical cord. The woman got so many chemicals in her body, from her hair to her eyelashes to her eyeballs to her fabrics on that she put on, to her wig, to her weave, to a fingernail polish, to the cologne she put on, and she's still partying with noise and violence going into a child that is not born yet, and the child is born broken. That's only half of it. So in this book of Revelations with the dragon kept fighting with God 4 to 5 times, just kept on coming back, kept on fighting. And then it says, when the dragon saw that he had been hurled into the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. The woman given the wings of a great eagle so that she might fly to the place prepared for her in the wilderness, where she would be taken care of for a time and a half, and time out of the serpent's reach. Then from his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. But the earth helped the woman by opening its mouth and swallowed the river that the dragon had spewed out of its mouth. Then the dragon was enraged at the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring. See, the dragon never stops. So if you don't have your children enlightened with the knowledge of God and truth, you're going to lose them. And when you lose them, you start bragging about the things that they accomplish in this world, but they are not godly people. And I got news for you. Most of your churches and preachers are not teaching God. They're teaching you how to be docile in this world. In closing, there are sheep and there are rams. When Abraham was told not to sacrifice his son Isaac, he sacrificed a ram. A ram is tenacious. A ram is fearless. A ram stands on the side of mountains. They're like goats, mountain goats. Ram will fight anything. A ram stands with his head tall. A ram don't chump. A ram is ready to die. So God shows you that I'm going to sacrifice a ram for the benefit of your child becoming a man or a woman of God. A sheep has to be protected because a sheep is a follower. And a sheep is used. The only sheep that was not a follower of this world was the prime example, and that is Jesus Christ, the Lamb. So I thank you all for tuning in. You got to grab your children. You got to get them on track because we at war, and they're going to fight the elders. They'll kill me. They'll kill anybody. And death, everybody is coming. I don't like people who love their life so much that they won't fight for their children or fight for their community. Death coming to everybody. I just want to give death too. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina.